A very good morning. Thanks for being here this morning. It's a very momentous day for our state, for the state of California. A very exciting day as we formally launch the Clean California Initiative. I am Tokes Omashakin, the director of Caltrans across the state. Excited to be here this morning with our great governor, Governor Newsom, Supervisor Contra Costa County Supervisor John, and one of our great staff members that you're going to hear a little bit more from this morning, Terry from Caltrans here in the Bay Area. So I said it's a momentous day. A big part of the reason why I'm saying that is the litter problem, the trash problem has plagued the state for many, many years. For decades. And Caltrans and local governments, city and county governments have tried for years to try to do litter abatement work, adopt the highway work, type of work for many years. And that work, generally, you could say, hasn't been successful. We haven't been able to bring this major challenge to any kind of conclusion, to any kind of end. But I think we're at this moment today where we're about to make that happen. I truly believe that. 2.5 months ago, in early May, Governor Newsom announced for the first time the Clean California Initiative, a plan to not only pick up litter, address the litter challenge we have, but to engage local government, engage community in this again, to create jobs, to put artwork in communities, to identify people in underserved communities, people who have been a part of the correctional system, to get them an opportunity to work for Caltrans and work for local government. And all of that, I think, is coming to a great summation today as we formally launch this program. Governor Newsom has the numbers. He's amazing at sharing those things. So I'm going to save the numbers to Governor Newsom when he comes up and formally announces what those numbers are. But here, I'll tell you, as the director of this department of Caltrans, the part that I am really excited about, the part that's getting me really pumped up about this launch, this formal launch, and it's the fact that in many cases, our transportation system will be able to become a place again. Not only places that people pass through and say, oh, wow, look at that mess. But they'll pass through and say, I'm proud that this is my state. I truly believe this effort is going to revive pride in the state of California. It will get people excited about public spaces across this state again. And in doing that, we will create jobs. We will give people an opportunity that haven't had an opportunity. So it's a momentous day. It's an exciting day for our state. And I can't wait till we formally get going on this initiative. There are a few people I want to recognize. You guys in front of the cameras, they're behind you. But our maintenance team, people like Terry, there are a ton of them back here that work for our maintenance team. We're going to be doing this launch today across the entire state. The governor is leaving here and going to other destinations across the state. And you'll see men and women like the ones behind you with the hard hats and the orange vest on. I want to just thank them. Thank them, the leadership here, Dina El Tawanzi, the district director in District 4, the entire team. I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys have put in to keep the state clean and to get us to a day like today where we launch this program, and I truly believe will help transform the great comeback that the state of California is on. So with that, I'll take some questions at the end if there are any questions, but next I want to introduce Terry. Terry, if you don't mind coming up. Terry's on our team at Caltrans. He's on our maintenance team. And you're about to hear an incredible story that I think will possibly be replicated in the term of hundreds, in the terms of thousands, possibly, in this state because of this initiative that the governor has launched So give a warm welcome to Terry. Terry.
Thank you, sir. Hi, my name is Terry Billingsley. I grew up in Sacramento. I got involved with drugs when I was young, and subsequently I spent 20 years of my life as a drug addict. That's eventually landed me in the California State Prison for 18 years, and during that time I got involved with the PIA program. That's where we build all these trucks and equipment, and I did that for many years. When it got time for me to go home, supervisors contacted me, asked me if I'd be interested in going to work for Caltrans. I said, well, sure. So Caltrans came in and interviewed me and subsequently hired me. And when I was released, I went to work for Rio Vista Bridge Crew. We do maintenance on all the bridges there. I've been out 18 months. During this time, I've been gotten married to my dear wife, Jennifer. I've reunited with my children. I have a home in Valley Springs, a bank account, and a Harley, and life is good. And with that, I will introduce to you the Supervisor for Contra Costa County, Mr. John Joya.
Thank you. Terry, thanks for sharing your great story. And I know the program the governor has announced is going to support many individuals like yourself who really are fulfilling role models. So thank you very much. It was good to hear that. I'm John Joya, and we are really pleased and excited today that the governor is kicking off the Clean California Day of Action here in Contra Costa and in the city of Richmond. Because here locally in Contra Costa, we are partnering with the state and other agencies to really address illegal dumping and litter and trying to beautify our community. We appreciate the governor's leadership in really thinking out of the box and really understanding that these issues take a partnership. They take a partnership between state government and local agencies and community. And in fact, back in May, the governor kicked off his over $1 billion investment in Clean California in Richmond. And I know he came out to pick up trash that day along with a number of us and Caltrans. And what we talked about that day was how communities want to be involved in making their own neighborhood more beautiful and livable and safer. And this program allows that to happen. It involves community. So we appreciate the focus and the leadership in this area because it will make a difference. And I think it's just one of a number of programs the governor has offered in a way that is meant to result in systemic change for the better in our state. You know, to address our environment by cleaner air, cleaner water, cleaner land, while at the same time creating jobs, especially for those who are the most vulnerable members of our community, people like Terry, who were formerly incarcerated, or people who are homeless. I think it is so important that we understand that the governor is linking helping people with helping the environment and producing a better and cleaner California. And I know he knows that because he used to be a former county supervisor himself in San Francisco and rolled up his sleeves and addressed those types of issues in San Francisco before being on a statewide level. So it's my honor to introduce the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, and his leadership in really bringing us together at all levels of government. Governor.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you, Supervisor, and it's great to be back with all of you. To Terry, thank you. Congrats, man, for your example and your faith and devotion, not only to the cause that unites us here today, but Jennifer, your beautiful wife, your words, and for reuniting with your kids, man.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, that's the stuff that really matters, and you being a role model for others is incredibly powerful and important. And to all the men and women that are here, Caltrans, we thank you for a job well done. We appreciate you. We have your back, and now you have an historic amount of money, $1.1 billion, an unprecedented investment to clean up the state of California. Just put it in perspective. A couple years ago, before Tokes became Caltrans director, the entire budget for the state of California for Caltrans to clean up litter and beautify was $80 million. That was a couple years ago. today we're announcing a commitment of over $1.1 billion to clean up and beautify the streets, thoroughfares, entrances and exits, and transit centers all across the state of California. This is an unprecedented effort to acknowledge what all of us recognize as we drive around this state. It's too damn dirty. Time to clean up the state. Time to be a little bit more accountable. Time to use our tax dollars a little bit more appropriately. People want to see the results of their hard work. We're running record revenues in the state of California. We're running a record surplus in the state of California. Over $80 billion now is the operating surplus here in the state of California. People want to see those dollars well invested, and I cannot imagine a greater ROI in terms of investment of dollars than cleaning up the streets and getting rid of the graffiti and revitalizing, as Toke said, not only revitalizing space, but revitalizing community. And I think Toke's comment is an powerful and important one. You can't legislate spirit, you can't legislate pride. You got to manufacture it, you got to manifest it. And that's people coming together, community leaders, people like Supervisor Joya and others, working with neighborhood organizations, community-based organizations, working with folks to revitalize their community, for people to feel that they have a stake in their future. And they can point their finger and say, you know what, I did that. I planted that tree. I cleaned up that park. I cleaned up that playground. I feel now more connected, and I feel like we are now part of a community that respects one another in a different and more powerful and potent way. So this is really about developing a framework of engagement and partnership. 1/3 of the money will go to cities and counties. Those dollars will be leveraged. It's well beyond $1 billion state investment, because we're going to leverage local dollars with a matching program. We're going to focus not just, again, on cleaning, removing all of these unsightly dumps that we are starting to see that sprung up, particularly over the last year in the state of California. 18,000 now, equivalent of 18,000 trucks, large trucks, the ones you see behind me, of litter that was removed last year. It's among the highest we've ever experienced in terms of illegal dumps in this state. We're seeing that particularly around the pandemic, and we've got to do more now to address it, and we're doing just that with this initiative here today. So I just want to thank Tokes and his team. This was an idea we took pen to paper just a couple months ago. We worked with the legislature. Let me thank the budget chairs, two well-known Bay Area leaders, in Phil Ting and Nancy Skinner, who worked hard to advance this project. I want to thank all our local partners, CSAC, the League of Cities, that embraced this call, that recognized the opportunity, this historic opportunity to do more and do better. I want to thank Supervisor Joya for being back with us, and I want to thank Terry for his example. We are hoping to not only elevate this program by launching it here in Richmond, but we're launching it all throughout the state of California. I'll be driving to the Central Valley right after this press conference. We'll be down in Southern California later this evening. But we're also advancing this cause. We're hoping to hire 11,000 folks, 11,000 folks like Terry, as part of this proposal. This is a big part of this initiative. And we're targeting people like Terry because we believe in second chances, and we believe in the power of example and redemption. And so the focus is on formerly homeless, formerly incarcerated, at-risk youth. We've already hired, or at least have job offers out to 400 people just in the last week. And the goal is 11,000 people all throughout the state of California as part of this program. So it's a virtuous cycle. You're going to see the fruits of this in encampments that will be cleaned up, not just entrances and exits into your neighborhoods. As I said, in the transit centers up and down the state, you're going to see it in real time, and you're going to see it, I hope, replicated through nonprofits and community-based organizations joining hand in hand with the formal program, and also providing opportunities for volunteering and opportunities for community leaders to engage in cleanup activities like the ones we are launching here today. So that's the announcement today. This is now made real. It was promoted in May. We actually got it done, and we're now getting the work done all throughout the state of California. We mean business time to clean up the streets in the state of California. We see what you see. It's unacceptable. We can do more. We have to do better. And now we have the resources to make all of that happen. So thank you all very much for the opportunity. And of course, here, happy to answer any questions.
Hey, Governor. Thing on? Yeah. Thanks for coming and talking to us today. We're a few weeks into the big reopening now. Delta variant is proliferating. State capitals walked back and made huge mask mandate. LA County is recommending people masking over so people get vaccinated. You have never taken off the table the possibility of reimposing some restrictions, whether it's masking, social distancing, capacity limits. How seriously is your team looking at that as the risk seems to be rising?
Well, if we continue to get people vaccinated, that'll be unnecessary. And this is the call to anyone that hasn't been vaccinated, get vaccinated. What more evidence do you need with going on with this Delta variant? If you've been hesitant, just consider the fact that the vast majority of folks, overwhelming majority of folks, almost without exception, everybody that's getting hospitalized or people that have lost their lives have been hospitalized or lost their lives because they haven't been vaccinated, period, full stop. What more evidence do you need? Not only protect yourself, protect your loved ones, protect the community. Over 75% of adults in the state of California have been vaccinated with at least one dose. It's among the highest in the United States. We're the top 10 most vaccinated states in America, and we have among the lowest case rates in America. There's no coincidence to that. One has something directly to do with the other. So I would just encourage people to get vaccinated if they haven't. Encourage folks that they love to get vaccinated if they haven't. And we will not be in a position, if we do so, and continue that progress of having to reinstitute any of these restrictions.
So just to be clear, in this sort of race between the variants and vaccinations, there is a possibility that if we don't get this last cohort vaccinated, we could see some more restrictions.
Look, at the end of the day, we have the capacity, we have the ability to mitigate the spread of this disease. We know the power and potency of these vaccines. I encourage everybody who hasn't been vaccinated to get vaccinated. By definition, we're open argument interested in evidence. By definition, no one's ideological when it comes to the issue of this pandemic, particularly these variants. And by the way, the Delta variant's one of many variants. The sequencing we've done so far in June, a little over 35.6% of all of those genomes have been sequenced with the Delta virus. Tomorrow, or the variant, tomorrow we're going to update those numbers. I can assure you they're going to be higher than that 36% when you round up. That said, we're also mindful of a number of other variants, our own homegrown West Coast variants, of which there are two, South African variant, the Brazilian variant, a lot of these other variants that we're also mindful about. So I just encourage people that haven't been vaccinated to get vaccinated. I encourage people that have not been vaccinated to continue to wear face coverings, particularly indoors. We're consistent with the CDC guidelines along those lines. And I would just remind folks this pandemic is not taking the summer months off, and this pandemic is not going away, and that we have a lot more work to do.
Governor, on the cleanup initiative, I've done the story numerous times in Oakland where Caltrans comes and cleans up their property underneath, for instance, an overpass, and then the same folks move over, if it's a homeless encampment or the dumping that's sometimes illegal dumping around the homeless encampment, they just move across the street, and then it becomes the city's problem. It sounds like there's going to be some coordinated effort to maybe, make sure that that doesn't happen.
Look, I recognize the whack-a-mole nature that you've described, but moreover, I hope you recognize, everybody recognizes this. Never in California's history have we actually, A, had a plan to address the issue of encampments and homeless, and two, had the resources that we're putting out this year. What we announced here today is $1.1 billion of state funds that will leverage and match with local funds to clean up the state. What we announced a number of months ago was $12 billion commitment to address the issue of homelessness in all its forms and manifestations. That $12 billion gives local government unprecedented resources to get people off the streets, out of encampments, into shelters, into hotels, motels, and into supportive housing. It's unprecedented in California's history. Let me put that in perspective. The most significant budget ever passed in the state's history to address the issue of homelessness was last year, and it was just shy of $1 billion. This year, $12 billion. $3.5 billion to deal with the issue of mental health. It's the most significant investment since Ronald Reagan began to dismantle our behavioral health system in 1967. We're putting hundreds of millions of dollars to help support Supervisor Joy and others to keep people in their hotel rooms under the room key model, and billions of dollars to expand the opportunity to create permanent housing under the home key model by providing thousands and thousands of new units of housing in real time. So when our teams are out there in encampments notifying people of our intent to clean up an encampment, we're doing so with more resources than any time in California history to follow through on our commitment to get people housed and get people out of these dangerous environments. There's nothing compassionate about people living in encampments. Period, full stop. Nothing. For people that advocate on behalf of those living in encampments when there's alternatives, and this state is putting up unprecedented resources of alternatives, one has to question the motivations. It's time to get serious about cleaning up these encampments in the state of California as we equivalently commit to unprecedented resources to help people off the streets and into permanency, to address the underlying reasons they're out in the streets, in sidewalks, those that are self-medicating, those that are dealing with underlying issues of bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, depression, and the like. And that's what's different, in answer to your question, this year than at any previous years in California history.
As an unrelated follow-up, the recall election's been set for mid-September. If that's a good thing for you, why?
I look forward to doing everything in our power. We're going to defeat this effort. Votes start next month, and we'll continue to focus on that. But I'm not taking my eye off the ball, focusing on the top priorities, the people of the state of California. If you ask me what the priorities are, it's A, to get rid of this pandemic once and for all, put it in the rearview mirror, get our kids safely back in in-person instruction, get our small businesses back on their feet, more vibrant than ever, clean up the streets, dealing with the homeless issue once and for all, and provide more supports, address people's behavioral health, and address the issue of crime that we're seeing in larger cities all up and down this state. And so those are the issues that are the focus of my attention as we work in a parallel track to defeat this recall.
Hi, Governor. Shomik from Bay Area. You mentioned you're visiting other cities in places in California today. Why did you choose Richmond as the place in the Bay Area?
Well, I love Richmond. I love the Bay Area. My kids, I think, are fifth, or I can't. I was debating with my sister, are we fifth or sixth generation San Franciscans? There's some ambiguity. Anyone can figure that out. Maybe there's some op research on me. They could figure it out. Let me know. But my point is, I love the Bay Area, love Richmond, love the East Bay. Really appreciate the supervisor's leadership, his commitment, not just passive interest to this effort. He was with us a few weeks back when we launched this. He means business, and we love good partners. And so we're back here because we want to reward good behavior and celebrate powerful and potent partnerships.
More to the nature of the work that you'll be getting full-time jobs.
Yeah. So I want to encourage folks that may be interested in a career path along the lines that Terry has been afforded. These Caltron jobs are great jobs. They're great careers, not just good jobs. And we're going to create pathways under this temporary program for about 11,000 people. Tokes, perhaps you can come up and give us where the jobs board is on that. But the hope is to train folks, Tokes, right, to create career pathways and opportunities up and down the state.
Yeah, thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. Good question. Yeah, we're on our website within the next week here. You will be able to go to the Caltrans website, and we're also setting up a cleancalifornia.com website and .org website where people will be able to go to and find out more about jobs. Like the governor said, 11,000 jobs is what we're estimating to be created from this, both at the state level, local government level, with NGOs, non-governmental organizations also having an opportunity, and at every level, from the most vulnerable people like Terry who are coming out of the system, all the way up to possibly even supervisor jobs will be created from that 11,000. So It's a great program. Looking forward to seeing what happens as we move forward. Thank you.
Justin Andrews with KPIX. Governor, you talked about the $1.1 million plan for the cleanup efforts. Let's talk about next week, because next week there could be trash blowing up against the highways again. So let's talk about, how can you make sure that this plan is implemented in the weeks and months to come?
Well, we're committed for the long haul. We're committed to 3-year project. We announced Clean California as a 3-year initiative. We hope to formalize it well beyond 3 years. We're committing to funding over the next 3 years, not 3 weeks, 3 months, but over the next 3 years at record investments. So we're hoping to develop this workforce over the next few years, help to develop these partnerships over the next few years. Again, we make that distinction. You heard me throw out 2 words, interest versus commitment. I always make this point. It's an important point in life, professionally and personally. You want to get things done. Align yourself with committed people, not interested people. Interested people find excuses. Committed people find ways of getting things done. This is a committed group, and we are committed to the long haul. And we recognize that good enough never is. And I think your point is an appropriate point. That is, you come out, a lot of fanfare. You come out with the lights on, cameras. We clean everything up. 2 weeks later, you drive by and you're like, looks like no one ever, it's back to the way it originally was. We don't want to go back to the way things originally were. And that's called accountability. And that's why I love this young man, Tokes, because he's all about accountability. And he knows that I'm on the road. And he knows that I come back to some of these locations, and including tonight in LA, where we also launched a program. So I'm going to test the theory. But your question's spot on, man, and we got a lot of work to do to prove that we can be here for the long haul. With that, we got a long haul drive, and I'll just ask, if I could, if anyone at Caltrans, if you'd be so kind, I want to get all picture with you guys, if I could. We could stand up here, and then I'll let everybody go. I appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today. Thank you all.